Hello, hello. All right. I think you can hear me now. Yes, you can hear me now. All right, let's try that again. Hello. My name is Chef D Malfi. Welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. It is good to be back. My goodness, with the audio glitch this week. I'm so sorry about that. I think you can hear me. Please let me know if you still can't hear me or if it goes in and out. There has been a little bit of a weird thing going on with StreamYard, which is the streaming software that I use. So it's good to see everyone. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Cherise. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Millie. Hi, Mom. All right, so welcome back, you guys. I'm excited to be back in the studio today. Today, we're going to be making carrot cake bars. These are really, really delicious and super nutritious, which is my favorite type of dessert recipe. And if you're wondering where is this recipe coming from, it's coming straight out of my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy Cookbook. This is issue number 6 we're working out of. This recipe book is amazing because it's going to give you a bunch of recipes for the entire month. So it's about 30 days of recipes. It's going to give you breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, sweets, which is what we're showcasing today, and even staple recipes, which I will talk about as well. All right, so let's get into it. This is a very simple recipe. And if you have questions along the way, you can actually put the questions in the comment box. Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate you. I did get a little wash today, so that's my Tina's looking very full, ain't she? All right, first things first, let's make some carrot cake bars. You definitely want to actually preheat your oven 350 degrees. This is a baked good, so pretty simple, 350, get your oven on, and you want an 8x8 baking dish. Now, I'm going to use one of these. This is a Le Creuset, but you can use anything that you want. Just make sure it's 8x8. That's the best size for this recipe. And what I want to do is I want to actually take a piece of parchment paper and I want to line it. So I'm going to do an overhead cam as well so you can follow along. Sita, hello, good to see you. Thanks so much, Mom, I appreciate you. All right, so look, parchment paper right in. Don't need to spray it or anything. You can if you want, it'll probably stick better, but I don't have any spray. So I'm just gonna put this aside. And now let's get into the batter. The batter is super duper simple. I'm gonna do it right here. I'm gonna put every single thing, all of the wet ingredients inside the food processor, and that's how we'll make this. And then we'll put the dry ingredients in a bowl and we'll fold that in. All right, so in the food processor, here we go. We want a little bit of liquid. So remember I told you that I would tell you about the staple recipes that are contained within our cookbook. Well, every single month cookbook is going to contain staple recipes. These 4 recipes include plant milk, plant cheese, plant yogurt, and plant-based bread. Now, I wanted to include these recipes as staples in every cookbook. In every single issue, you're going to find the recipes. They are slightly modified from month to month as I continue to master those recipes. But I want to tell you that I included them because when I first went vegan and plant-based, I use these terms interchangeably, by the way. I consider myself plant-based, but I sometimes will say vegan. I decided to include the staple recipes because I was spending a lot of money and a lot of time out in market trying to find these staple recipes that were expensive and that contained sometimes even shelf stabilizers and additives, things that I didn't want in my diet. And so I got to thinking, well, what can I do to make a difference for myself, my family, and maybe even my community here at Plant-Based Made Easy? I wanted to include these recipes. So I took it to the kitchen and I mastered these 4, which I believe are kind of the 4 staples that we all gravitate towards or need or use even when we're plant-based or vegan, right? So we all really still want cheese, we all want milk, we all want yogurt, and we all want some bread, easy homemade baked bread. There's like nothing like it. So you'll find in this recipe book, today we're going to showcase the plant milk. Now I make one batch of plant milk, about 64 ounces every single week. And this is coconut cashew milk, but you can use any nuts and seeds in any combination of nuts and seeds that you want. I like cocoa cash milk because it is very creamy and it's delicious. You can make this by hand, meaning you actually can blend it inside of a blender. I'm pointing to this, but I mean a blender. Or you can make it inside of a milk making machine. I like Almond Cow, and if you purchase this cookbook, you will get a little link to the Almond Cow at a discount. So, all right, you guys, let's get into it. First, we need some almond milk or plant milk. I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup. It doesn't matter what kind of almond milk you use or plant milk you use. Like I said, I'm using coconut cash. All right, you want also nut butter. Okay, so this is really going to be delicious. Oh, I love this suggestion. Yes, Brian, I will make you plant-based sushi. That might be a fun thing that we can do when the weather gets a little warmer. That's when I start to feel hungry for sushi. Good suggestion. And if you guys have such suggestions, keep them coming. Keep them coming. I love them. All right. The next thing that I want, nut butter. I'm going to use raw almond butter. You can see in the overhead cam, I'm showing you what I use. This is no salt added, raw almond butter, and it's creamy. I like this version and this brand. This is Trader Joe's because it only contains one thing in the ingredient list. I'm going to show you raw almonds. Really important. If you really want the nutrients of the almond or nut butter, you want to get raw, okay? It's harder to find, but it is well worth it because when you heat treat or cook like roasted almond butter or roasted peanut butter or even salted peanut butter, when you start to add oil and salt to things, you're really removing let me say this, you're crowding out the nutrients of the raw almond or seed itself, and you're replacing it with things that are actually inflammatory on the body. And those are things like sugar, salt, and oil. So I prefer the raw if I can find it. Again, this is a Trader Joe's raw almond butter. So you can find it there. I'm going to use about 1/2 cup. Throw that right in. All right, the next thing that I want is a little bit of vanilla. This is a flavor agent. I always talk about flavor agents because we don't use any additives when we're cooking or eating plant-based. That's the difference really between plant-based, the term plant-based versus vegan. And here, let me break it down a little bit more for you. Vegan actually is a really kind of a funny misnomer because you can be vegan and you can still be unhealthy. Yeah, you with me? I know you all know this, right? You've seen vegans or people that go vegan and all of a sudden, they are eating hamburgers and French fries every day with fake meat, franken meat, I like to call, or they're eating a lot of food with sugar. They're eating a lot of food with salt, all of that. You don't want that, right? And so plant-based is really the act. It's really kind of like a political act, truly, not only for your body and yourself, but your community and the world at large, because you're committed to eating whole plant foods, as close to the whole version of the plant food as you can get. And that is the main difference. Plant-based eating is really about really kind of reassessing and reevaluating and recommitting to a relationship with healthy food in a very kind of a new way. And it is life-giving in and of itself. All right, I could go on and on about that, but I think I'll stop. All right, so yeah, junk food vegans, that's what it is, Cindy. All right, so we've got the nut milk. Now we need the vanilla, as I mentioned. I'm just gonna use a splash. You can use almond extract, orange extract, lemon extract. I like vanilla, that's my jam. I'm now gonna use 1/2 of a banana here, which I really love, throwing that right in. A banana is going to be a natural sweetener. Again, here's a wonderful way that we're kind of symbolizing or showcasing plant-based versus vegan. You could use sugar if you wanted that would be highly processed, like brown sugar or molasses, or you could use a banana and some maple syrup, which both of these are not processed, like they come straight from the source. Yeah. All right. So the next, we're going to use a little bit of liquid sweetener. I'm going to use about 1/4 cup. Today I'm using organic maple, because that's my business and I love it. Grade A, amber color, very rich flavor, delicious. 1/4 cup goes right in. And yeah, maple syrup it comes out of the tree, right? It's unprocessed. It's really delicious. Yes, they have to heat treat it to remove all the buggies and the stuff that's floating around from the tree, but it's really good for you. All right, the next thing that I want are some carrots. I'm going to use 1 cup of grated or shredded carrots. These are pre-shredded because it's going to save me a little bit of time. I'm going to throw that in. All right. Let me just make sure I have everything I need. And then walnuts. Now, these are carrot cake bars. So we're trying to mimic the ingredients in carrot cake. Of course, we need the carrots. We need the sweetness. So the banana and the maple are going to help with that. Carrot cake also has a very kind of round body feel. It's like it's got like a very, does that make sense? Kind of like a creaminess to it, right? Think of cream cheese frosting. Think of the butter that may be contained within a carrot cake itself. We're replacing that with raw almond butter today. So that's that. And then of course some walnuts for crunch and texture. And here's how you can modify it. If you don't like walnuts, maybe you add almond slivers. And maybe you want just a little bit extra sweetness. You can add some golden raisins. If you wanted some crushed pineapple would be great. Really, really delicious ways to make this your own. I'm also going to use a little bit of flaxseed meal. Okay, and today I wanted to show you the difference. Here's whole flaxseed. This is golden whole flaxseed. And these are really important for us, but the body really can't ingest whole flaxseed all that well. Most of us will just kind of digest it right out. So instead, one of the best ways to enjoy flaxseed is to crush it up. You can pulverize it in a food processor or blender, or you can buy it already milled. This is flaxseed meal. It is sometimes called flaxseed flour. Okay, I'm going to use this. 2 tablespoons goes right in. And because I'm using a food processor, you're probably thinking, well, can't you just put these flax seeds right into here? Yes, you absolutely could, but I would recommend powder this first and then add it to your recipe so that it's consistently broken up. Yeah? All right, last thing, I want a little flavor agent in this as well. Today I'm going to use cinnamon as well as vanilla because I love these two. And it's very, carrot cake-esque. I'm going to add just a little bit of the cinnamon. You could use clove, you could use nutmeg, allspice, ginger, cardamom, coriander, which would be delicious for all of our global audience members. Lots of different spices that you can add here. So make it your own right there. All right, I'm going to put this on top of my machine and I'm going to mix it up. I just want to go ahead and pulse this until it's kind of well mixed. And I'm pulsing it because I don't want to over blend or mix the carrots. What's going on? Why'd you just shut off? Come on. Pause, please. All right, here we go. Why'd you shut off? This is weird. Don't be weird. Please don't be weird. I'm sorry, guys. Now, you could also do this with a potato masher if your food processor won't work. I don't really have one right here. Why are you being weird? Ooh, man, all the things, all the technical things. Please work. There we go. Just had to ask nicely. All right. All right, that's perfect. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. She says, Cindy Strong. That's why I love your recipes. Easy, can adapt well to my restrictions. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Making it really easy for yourself. All right, let's take a look. Okay, this looks fantastic. Watery, wet, delicious, chunky from the carrots, a little bit of that banana, yummy. Now let's make the dry ingredients. We're almost there. To this, I'm going to add some rolled oats. Now here's where you really can make it your own. Let's say you want this to be fully gluten-free. You can take rolled oats and you can take 1 and about 1/4 cup and you can make oat flour, okay? Today I'm going to use whole wheat flour as my flour along with rolled oats. But if you wanted this to be fully gluten-free, you can just add a little oat flour. You can make it your own or you can buy it if you want. And so we're going to start with the rolled oats first. 1.5 cups and then 1/2 cup of your flour, okay? Almond flour, whole wheat flour. I'm going to use whole wheat flour. I'm just going to show you. This is stone ground whole wheat flour. It's got that gorgeous color. All-purpose flour, oat flour, like I already mentioned. Lots of different options there. Okay, now I need a leavening agent. I'm going to use baking soda because we need it here. And this is just, make sure your baking soda is alive and working well. I'm going to show you because I always talk about it, but I never show you. All right, here's how you know if it's alive. Turn it around. There's going to be the best if used by date, March 25th, 2022. We are good to go. I usually go through one of these every 6 months. That's someone recently asked me that question. I just wanted to get you that answer. I think it's important to know, like if you're baking a bunch, it's about 1 container, which is 12 ounces, about every 6 months. So 1 teaspoon of this will go right in. And that's it. Give this a quick mix. If you wanted, you could add a little bit of sea salt here. This recipe is no oil, no sugar, no salt. For me, that's how I've written it for you, but you can make it your own. So if you wanted a little bit of sea salt, you could. If you wanted a little bit of anything else, go for it. Okay, I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. And then I'm just going to kind of fold it in. Because I'm using whole wheat flour, this is actually going to contain gluten. So the goal with using any whole wheat flour in baked goods is to not over mix. Very important. Don't over mix your baked goods that contain whole wheat flour, that contain any flour, because any flour coming from wheat is going to contain the protein gluten, okay? And that gluten, when over mixed, causes a very kind of spongy-like, very tough baked good. We don't want that. We want our baked good to be nice and airy and fluffy and delicious. I'm going to grab a spatula, which I have here. And the goal is to just literally fold in. Folding in is this. You can see me doing it now, right? Making sure I don't see any streaks of the flour. And everything is well coated, kind of wet, moist, and ready for the baking pan. Make sure to get the underbelly here. That's where baking soda will hide and everything will kind of like sit and hide if you're not good. Okay, so this is mixed very well. We did a good job. Yes, perfect. All right, now it's time to bake. I'm going to grab my baking dish. Try to situate that paper down in there. All right, and then just plop it down onto that paper. It'll kind of hold the paper down now. Make sure you get every last bit. You will thank me later. These are really yummy, so you don't want to waste any. And this is like me from 15 years of working as a chef in kitchens. It's like, you know, you cannot waste any product. This is all money, right? So as far as restaurants are concerned, we were required to kind of show, is your bowl clean? I'm looking at a clean bowl, people. All right, that's good. Now I'm just gonna just like scoop it down. I want it to be kind of even. Really make sure to go to the edges. Make sure that it's the same thickness spread throughout from coast to coast from every corner of the baking pan, and this is going to bake consistently. If you have just a blob and you don't spread it out, you're going to actually not have a really wonderful baked good because it's going to bake at different rates, okay? And we want to make sure it goes all the way to the edges because the baking paper will actually kind of hold it, prevent it from going all the way to the edges, and you'll create like an air circulation if it's not all the way to the edge, and then it will dry out on one side. So we don't want that either. So we really want to make sure it's well spread. And then at this point, I want to just do this one last thing. It's very important. Give it a tap. Tap it a little bit, and that's going to release any of those stuck bubbles on the base. This is really important, especially if you're using wheat flour. This is going to release any of those bubbles, and it'll help to settle it down. Okay, this goes right into the oven. And I did do one ahead of time so that you didn't have to wait. You're going in. Perfect. And then, ta-da, we've got our carrot cake bars baked off and ready to dive into. Now, this recipe also contains a glaze. If you want, I'm not saying, not judging, if you wanted to add a little bit of sugar and make yourself a glaze, there's a wonderful recipe with powdered sugar and plant milk and a little bit of cinnamon, and it's yummy, okay? But we're not gonna do that today. I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna slice right into it because I need a little bite. And Lord knows I don't need any sugar this afternoon. I'm good. I had some pancakes this morning. All right, so I'm just gonna like slice this into bars. Squares, bars, doesn't matter. And it makes 12. It makes however many you want to slice. It does matter. All right, that was terrible. I'm gonna just go here. I'm making more than 12, just a few more than 12. This looks great. All right, I'm getting a plate and let's do the thing. You guys, take a look. Carrot cake bars, this is for you. I want you to see the deliciousness. You can see the oats. You can see bits of the carrot. This looks really, really yummy. All right, I have to try it. I'm not going to go for it with just picking it up. I'll be civilized. I'll get a little spoon. Yeah, Ely, hello. I miss you, lady. You want to bake this 350 degrees, and it bakes about 30 to 35 minutes, okay? You can see it's nice and thick. So you really do need to bake it a little bit longer than maybe you think, okay? It really depends on how hot your oven is. I'm using a countertop oven, so it really kind of cooks a lot more efficiently in the small oven because there's not as much surface area, you know? But I did this one in the home oven, and it really did take like 35 full minutes because it's so thick and so delicious. So you really, really want to make sure it's nice and cooked through. And the way to check is just put a little paring knife in there. If it comes out relatively clean, it's done. It doesn't have to be completely clean. It probably won't be completely clean because of the banana that we're using and because of the amount of almond milk that's in it, it may be a little kind of wet on the paring knife, but just a little bit is fine. And I like it to and make sure that it's not overly cooked because then it will get a little dry. Okay, enough talking. My mouth is salivating. It's time to get this a little bite. Before I do, I want to give this food a little gratitude. Thank you, food. Thank you, God. Here we go. Cheers. Mm. Mm. Man, is that good. I'm telling you, it's like carrot cake gone healthy. It's so yummy. It's not overly sweet at all. In fact, if you wanted to, you could even sweeten it more. I only used like a quarter of a cup of maple syrup, but you could certainly use half or a full if you wanted. And for me, I don't need it, especially if I know I'm going to make that glaze later. I could put a little glaze on this and it would be absolutely perfect. But the best thing about this carrot cake bar is how moist it is. And I think it's like the oats retain some of that moisture. Obviously the carrots give it like a delicious fresh flavor. It's really, really great. Yeah, you can totally, Angie, I love your style. A little scoop of vanilla ice cream on there. Absolutely. Yes. You guys try this recipe. And if you try it and you make it, please take a photo and please join us inside of our Plant-Based Made Easy Facebook group. I'm really excited because we're 4,300 people and growing every single day. It is phenomenal. I have to admit, I have not been as active on our Facebook group, and that's because I'm actively looking for people to help me moderate the page. So if that is of interest to you, please get in touch with me. I'm going to be sending out an email this weekend. If you're on my email list, you'll get an email, and I'm going to explain exactly kind of what I'm looking for or thereabouts. And if it's of interest, please let me know. And please continue to have a wonderful, healthy life. If you need help along the way, I'm your sister. Please reach out. You can reach out to me on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Instagram. And if you haven't done so already, please follow me on Instagram at Chef D Malfi. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys, and I will see you next week. Peace out.